What's up, guys? This is See It Like Strev, episode 2, week 3 of the CFL. We're on vacation right now. This is vacation edition. I got the camera set up. I'm sitting on the balcony right now. So this is your special vacation edition of See It Like Strev. So there was 4 games this weekend. We had a Saturday triple header, and like I said, I'm on vacation. I was supposed to fly out Saturday. I get to the airport. I got my baby up. I got my fiance there. We're on a 7 a.m. flight. We're sitting on the plane. We're waiting an hour. We're delayed. An hour and a half goes by. Hey, we got a deplane. We got to get off the plane. Like, oh my gosh. Main hydraulics go out on the plane. Long story short, we're not able to get rescheduled, so we have to push everything back to fly out on Sunday. So, unfortunate situation for the vacation. Not a bad situation from the standpoint of getting to watch some CFL football this weekend. So I got to watch all the games on Saturday, had a triple header, obviously had our game on Friday night as well, so ended up working out all right for me. I want to highlight something before we get into the recap of the games. CFL games are averaging 62 points per game right now through 3 weeks of the season. 62 points per game. That's more than 2 touchdowns, more than what the NFL averaged last year. Shout out to Derek Taylor putting that stat out on X. Also did a great job calling the Sask-Calgary game this weekend. I also got to give a shout out to all the veteran quarterbacks around the league. I don't know, in my time being around the CFL, I don't know if we've ever seen higher quality quarterback play, especially out of the veterans. Top to bottom, guys are playing outstanding football. Defenses are getting takeaway. We've had some classic CFL kick sixes this week and throughout the season. It's been an electric start of the season. I can't think of a better time to be watching and covering CFL football. So let's get into this week's action. We started off the week Friday night, BC going to Hamilton. Hamilton came out explosive in the first half. Had that massive pass to Keandre Smith in the first couple plays of the game for a big touchdown, and they just didn't let up. The entire first half, they were pedal to the metal. Bo throws that massive touchdown to Kenny Lawler to go up 27-9, 28-9 at the end of the first half. Their offense is firing on all cylinders, and Bo's playing like the best quarterback in the league. Like I said earlier, the quarterback play has been so elite this season. So to say that you're playing like the best quarterback in the league is high praise. I think he was rated as the number 2 or 3 best player in the league by TSN, by the players. So no surprise, but man, he is playing elite. This week, he had 83% completion. Okay, 83% completion, 5 touchdowns, 3 incompletions. 5 touchdowns, 3 incompletions. To throw more touchdowns than incompletions, I did that in college against Indiana State. We're talking against the BC Lions on Friday Night Football. Guy's playing out of his mind. He's seeing the field. Hamilton, I got to give a shout out to their receiving core. I said it last week and I'll say it again. I think they've got the best core in the CFL, and so many guys can hurt you in the passing game. We see Myron Mitchell taking the top off the defense, who I also gave a shout out to last week. He was with us in Winnipeg. Guy just works hard, knows where to be, and you got to see some of that explosiveness this week. I did a little breakdown on X and YouTube where they ran that scissors concept, and he was able to get over the top of the half, who was kind of sitting on the sail route. Big explosive play in the first half there. I think it was early in the game as well. Also great to see Kenny Lawler getting back involved with their receiving core, getting some big plays, had that big catch over the middle going up top, making a contested catch, had that through route where he caught a touchdown at the end of the first half. Again, I think he's the best receiver in the league and one of the best deep ball threats that this league has seen in recent memory. Let's talk about BC a little bit, because BC's starting 0-2, been in some tough games. You just can't rely on Nathan Rourke being Superman every week. Yes, he is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, no doubt. And that's not anything against him. I'm just saying from a team standpoint, we have to play complementary football. You can have a guy that can go out, just like last week, throw for over 300 yards, almost 400 total yards, and still lose a football game. We have to play three-phase football if you're BC. You can't rely on one guy to go out and play superhuman week in and week out. Even though he is an outstanding player, you got to give him some support. I mean, right now, their defense, they gave up 285 yards passing, 83% completion this week. Week 1, 417 yards passing, 83% completion. So your defense is giving up 83% completion to quarterbacks and 8 touchdowns through 2 games. It's tough. We got to take the ball away. We got to do something different. And credit to them, they tried to do something different, right? They didn't bring a ton of pressure like I covered in week 1 versus Sask. They dialed back on the cover 0. They were still getting torched in the back and giving up 83% completion. So At this point, it's how can we try to confuse the opposing quarterbacks? How can we give them a different look? How can we put our defensive backs, our back end, in a better position to be successful? Here's the bright side for BC. Last year, people forget, they started 0-2 last season. They went all the way to the West Final and were one of the hottest teams coming on late in the season. When you think about the CFL, this is a 21-week regular season. You're playing 18 games. It's not necessarily about who starts the hottest. Injuries can happen, so many ebbs and flows throughout an 18-game season. It's about getting hot at the right time. So I still believe that that BC has a chance to get this thing turned around because of Buck Pierce. I've been around Buck. I've seen him in adverse situations. I know how he works. Doesn't matter what's going on in that facility. He's going to show up day in and day out. He'll be the first guy in. He'll be the last guy out. Nobody is going to outwork that man. I believe in his leadership to overcome this adversity and get this thing back on the right track, especially after they started 0-2 last season. So it'll be interesting to see where the BC Lions go from here. Hamilton Tiger Cats looking like one of the top 3 teams in the league right now. Extremely impressive. Let's jump over to Saturday morning. Toronto going to Ottawa. Sloppy game. We had 11 turnovers in that game, including the turnover on downs. Okay, Toronto ends up winning 44-24, but both sides are going to have to clean it up if they want to stay competitive and if Ottawa wants to get this thing turned around. Chad Kelly, very impressive coming back after missing all of last season with that injury. Hasn't missed a beat. He's thrown for over 400 yards in his second straight game. Really explosive pushing the ball down the field. And that's always been the thing with Chad Kelly. He's not afraid to push the ball down the field, not afraid to make those level 2 throws where it's not a quick game throw, it's not a deep ball, but banging those benders in there. Deep digs, skinny posts, throws those with the best in the league. But if you're Chad Kelly, you can't go full Jameis Winston. You can't go 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions if you want to continue to get where you guys want to go and be the Grey Cup contender that you have the talent to be. So excited for him to see him coming out, being able to get 400 yards 2 weeks in a row. Just got to clean up some of those turnovers, and I think he will. There's got to still be some rust, and at some point, you're on fire like he is. I don't think he threw an incompletion until late in the second quarter. Some of those throws are heat checks, but then we got to get back on track. We got to stop the bleeding and be able to kind of do some damage control so we're not just turning the ball over. Let's talk about Ottawa. Here's a bright side for Ottawa. Their defense has gotten takeaways. They took the ball 4 times. Took the ball away 4 times. Had 4 interceptions. So you can look at it from the side of Chad Kelly. Hey, let's protect the football a little bit. And Ottawa, hey, you're taking the ball away. They really kept their offense and their team in this game because Toronto looked like they were going to run away with it. And then Ottawa just kept taking the ball away. And look, you can point to the quarterback and say making bad decisions, but you got to catch the football if you're Ottawa. And they did that. They took the ball away. And I still believe in Jake Mayer to move the football. Difficult situations throughout that game. Did he play his best game of football? No, he didn't. But I believe in Jake Mayer to be able to continue to move the football, and they just got to finish in the end zone. We can't be settling for 3 if we're Ottawa. I think if you're sitting at 0-2 right now, going into next week, you say, hey, let's go for it a little bit more on 3rd down in these deep red zone situations. We can't be settling for 3 because we got to go win some football games. I believe in Jake Mayer, and I think they're going to have to come out firing this next week to try to get their first win of the year. Let's bounce back to Toronto really quick. They look legit. They just got to clean it up a little bit. We talked about the 4 turnovers, but the other thing that I want to look at is over 100 penalty yards. A lot of games, especially late in the season, come down to penalty yards, come down to turnovers. And if you want to be a team that can make a deep playoff run, again, like they have the talent to do, you can't have over 100 penalty yards. You can't have 4 interceptions. So they got to clean it up. But they look like a very dangerous team right now if they can clean up some of those mistakes. Edmonton at Montreal, the second game on Saturday. Another sloppy game for Edmonton. Their first game at Ottawa, pouring rain. This game, I mean, it was pissing. It was coming down. So Edmonton getting a little bit unlucky from a weather standpoint. But the big storyline of this game is Davis versus Cody, right? Davis Alexander versus Cody Fajardo. Teammates in Montreal. I know that knowing Davis personally, I know Cody really helped shape his professionalism and his knowledge of the game. And Davis has been around some great guys. Trevor Harris. I know him and VA are good buddies. Cody, being around those guys as a young professional, it really shapes your process and your mindset moving forward, how you're going to attack your work week. And I know that Cody had a really positive impact on Davis, which was cool to see them doing a little jersey swap at the end of the game and showing that mutual respect. Davis, even though they did not win the game, man, he still looks good. In the pouring rain, 350 yards and a touchdown. I don't think there's any debate that he's a top 3 quarterback in the league. His first regular season loss, I mean, kind of a cherry-picked stat, but man, he is really playing at a high level, and I think he's taken another step forward as a player this year. Justin Rankin, man, I mean, an early season MOP candidate right now. He ran for almost 180 yards, had a massive third quarter. He outscored the entire Montreal offense in the third quarter alone. And if Edmonton can get him going, man, they are a dangerous, dangerous team. And the thing I love about Rankin is not just his ability to make the first guy miss. He's got the ability on that one touchdown run to the right side. Right tackle ends up whiffing a block, ends up making a guy miss. But the thing is, he makes the first guy miss, and then he can take it to the crib. He can end it. He can take it 80. So it's really rare that you're going to see a guy with that type of elusiveness, power, but also finishing speed where he can take that thing 80 to the crib. He looks like an early season MOP candidate. And then let's jump over and talk about Cody Fajardo really quick, man. He's a winner. You know, it's just so crazy, the narrative that has just been surrounding him that, you know, for whatever reason, and I think part of the reason is, you know, I got into it a little bit on Twitter just saying, hey man, this guy's a winner. People forget he was a Grey Cup MOP in 2023. He's been a winner. He's won the big games. And I think part of that narrative just comes from the fact that you watch him play, he doesn't have the strongest arm. He isn't the most athletic guy in the world. He's not going to run a 4.4 40, but he sees the field. And as a quarterback, you can appreciate a guy seeing the field, getting the ball out on time, and giving his receivers a chance. He's going to put some good arc on that football where his receivers can go up and make a play for him. I love the way he plays the game, and to me it looks like his teammates love to play with him, and that's, to me, what is the most important thing as a quarterback. Can you rally the guys around you to play good football for you? Do guys love strapping it up with you? That's always going to be the most important thing as a quarterback in this league. So I think Cody Fajardo is a winner, and I think he's got Edmonton looking extremely dangerous in the West. And ultimately, at the end of the day, guys, Edmonton is dangerous when they're rolling, and I think the league is better off when Edmonton's doing well because they're going to get fans at their games. They've got a big, beautiful stadium, and I think the more people they can get out to games, especially with the history of that team, the better off that's going to be for everybody. I'm excited to see that team when they're not in a game that's pouring rain. Now let's talk about Saskatchewan, the last game of our Saturday tripleheader. It was another overtime thriller. We've had a couple of those early in the season. Trevor Harris had an amazing day, 350 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, playing extremely clean football, which is huge. Their offense is humming, and their big 3 of receivers right now is looking really, really deadly. Kean Schaefer-Baker going for 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's really any of these 3 guys. You got him having an outstanding day. Samuel Emelis going for 90 yards this week. Keyshawn Johnson, 60 and a touchdown. But really, any of those 3 guys can really hurt you. And from a defensive perspective, it's going to be extremely hard to account for all of those guys because of the way Trevor Harris spreads the ball around. He gets it out extremely quick, and he goes through his progressions extremely quickly as well. The way that he's able to progress to the backside dig on some of his concepts is extremely impressive. I love the way he processes at the top of his drop and is able to get the ball out on time. Let's talk about Dedrick Mills, one of the best running backs in the game. We talked about him last week. He goes for over 100 yards again. And then Tyreek McAllister with the kick 6, really getting Calgary right back in the game. It was kind of looking like Sass was about to run away with the game. He goes and makes the kick 6 and ultimately gets them right back in the football game. Extremely impressive to see him be able to take that and just a huge momentum changing play, which again also helped push this game to an overtime finish. And I got to give a shout out to my guy Tommy Stevens. Couple of wedge touchdowns. He's the best wedge quarterback in the league. I'm happy to give that title up now that I'm out. Tommy, great guy. Love the way he plays the game. And I think if I'm a CFL team right now, I'm looking around the league and I'm saying, okay, if I can get an automatic first down on 2nd and 1 or 3rd and 1, or even manufacture a couple explosive plays on 2nd and 1, why am I not doing that? Why am I not hammering our wedge package and saying, hey, let's take some pride in being an automatic first down? Those are game-changing plays. We've seen it a couple times throughout the year where you go line up to do a quarterback sneak, it's 3rd and 1, you get stuffed. That's a turnover, right? And so that is such a weapon that we had with Winnipeg when I was out there. They still have. I know their offensive line takes a ton of pride in it. But also, if you're Sass, being able to say, hey, we're on the 1-yard line, we are going to score a touchdown. It's 3rd and 1, even 3rd and 2, we're going to get a first down. That's the way Tommy Stevens and their offensive line attacks the wedge, and I think it's honestly a huge weapon. And to me, Sass still looks like the team to beat in the league. All right, time for, people are saying the most prestigious award, the most prestigious weekly award in the CFL. First game of the week, Bo Levi Mitchell. I'll say it again, more touchdowns than incompletions. More touchdowns than incompletions. You have to be so dialed in to have a stat line like that, almost 84% completion. Through a couple games, he's got nearly 900 yards and 8 touchdowns. He's playing outstanding football in his 15th season. He's a surefire Hall of Famer. He's been an MOP of the league. He's been an all-star. He's won Grey Cups. He's done it all. That being said, he might be playing the best ball of his career at the ripe age of 36. Bo Levi Mitchell, you were seeing it this week, man. Good work. Let's look ahead to next week. We got Edmonton at Winnipeg. I am extremely excited for this game because these are two teams that are kind of in the middle of the pack in the West right now, and this is a huge game. Going into Winnipeg, a very tough environment for Edmonton. They've been in a couple competitive games early in the year. They're 2-0. Let's see how this game goes. If you're Winnipeg, you got to stop the run. They were on bye this week, but let's think back to 2 weeks ago against Hamilton. Hamilton ran the ball all over them. They were able to stay in second and medium, second and short throughout the game, and if you can do that as an offense, the world is your oyster from a play calling standpoint. So I'm excited to see how this Winnipeg defense matches up with this run game of Edmonton, because if you want to beat Edmonton, you have to stop Justin Rankin, and no team's been able to do it yet. Then you've got Toronto at Sask. This is going to be a great offensive matchup. I mean, two of the best offenses in the league, two of the best receiving cores in the league. But ultimately, at the end of the day, Toronto's going to need to play a cleaner game to win this football game, because Sask has the ability to control the ball with the run. They've got AJ Ouellette, who hasn't even really, he had 85 yards this week, but he hasn't really had a chance to really even get going because they're passing the ball so well. But if you're Toronto, you're not going to be able to turn the ball over 4 times and win this game against Sask, going to Sask. So you're going to need to play smarter football. You're not going to be able to have a bunch of penalties, because Sask will not just keep giving the ball back to you. Trevor Harris is too smart with the football. They know how to control the football, and they know how to win games. They've won a Grey Cup. And to me, that is so important as a team, is understanding how do I win football games and how do I not lose football games. And Sask knows how to do both. Toronto's going to have to clean it up if they're going to want to have a chance at Sask this week. I'm looking forward to that offensive matchup. And you've got Calgary at BC and Kelowna. The World Cup's going on, so BC's kind of off their home turf right now. But to me, I see this as a must-win for either team, because you're sitting at 0-2 in a very competitive West Division. You fall to 0-3, that's difficult. I've done it with Winnipeg 2 years ago when we started 0-4. That's a tough place to be. Playing against an in-division team, I think that this is a must-win for either team, and ultimately, I think BC's going to take it. You know, I just picture them playing outside in Kelowna, getting the ship rightened here. I think they're going to go to work, have a great week of work, be motivated, but they've got to tighten up in the back end. I mean, big play VA, the way that he can extend plays, and he loves to push the ball downfield as well. They're going to need to tighten up a little bit, find a way to get pressure on VA, find a way to mix it up, right? Hey, let's bring some pressure on one play. Okay, now let's drop 9 and sit back. You can't let him get comfortable, because if VA gets comfortable and you let him extend the plays and get out of the pocket, he's going to be very deadly, but that's going to be a huge matchup to watch in the West. And then we finish off the weekend with Ottawa going to Montreal. Ultimately, if Ottawa's going to want to have a chance in this game at Montreal, they're going to have to play a clean game. Can't turn the ball over. You're going to have to continue to stay in front of the chains. You're going to have to make smart plays. You're going to have to convert deep drives into touchdowns. We can't be kicking field goals if we're going to a place like Montreal, who's going to come out extremely motivated after losing a game against Edmonton. So great slate of games coming up this week. Again, I'll say it again, 62 points per game. If you're not watching the CFL this summer and you're looking for some sports to watch, you are missing out. You're missing out on 62 points per game. Let's go, baby. The CFL has been humming. I'm enjoying this season. I hope you guys are too. Leave a couple comments on this YouTube video. I'll get to some of your fan comments next week. At the end of the day, guys, that's how you see it like Strev.